Hello everybody! Happy Friday! I hope you guys all had a wonderful summer and were able to do some fun things. I know a lot of us are back in school and some of us are learning remotely, so I'm going to start doing weekly art classes on Fridays. So for today's art project, we're doing something that I'm calling a visual oxymoron. An oxymoron, what is this word? Well, oxymoron is a phrase or a saying that uses two totally different things together. For example, you might have heard, "You're clearly confused," or "That's terribly good," or maybe "Same difference." So these are all phrases that use different words with opposite meanings and put them together. So for today's lesson, we're doing a visual oxymoron collage. So we're going to take two totally different images and mix them together. So for this example, I used a magazine picture of a forest and an ice cream truck. You can see they're very different, but they look really nice when they're actually mixed together like that. And then another example where I actually wove them together, I used a picture of Picasso's Guernica, which is all a painting that's all in black and white and grays, and then an image of a painting by Alison Zuckerman, and her paintings are really colorful. And then I wove them together to get this completely new image. So for today's class, you're gonna need a piece of paper, a glue stick, maybe some scissors, maybe a ruler, and a pencil, and then some magazines. If you don't have magazines, you could use some wrapping paper or really whatever you find around the house. Our goal is to find some images that are completely different. And this could be either in theme, like I have this picture of a New York City subway at night, and then I have this cool picture of an interior of a really lush green cave. Now, not only are they completely different subjects, but also they're complementary colors. So they're on the opposite end of the color wheel. We got the reds and the greens. I got a couple examples because I wasn't really sure which ones I wanted to use. So then there's this cool one of a picture of a big building and then two deer. Or a city and a bunch of birds in the water. So, give you a couple minutes to look through your magazines and gather some materials to use. Now, before we start, we should do a little just exercise so we can get focused and relaxed, so we can really put all of our attention towards our artwork. So, everybody taking a big deep breath. Let it go. Let's do that one more time. That feels nice. Now let's roll our shoulders back a couple times. Maybe stretch out our arms. Oh. Okay, are you feeling focused and ready to go? I hope so. So hopefully you have a couple images you're gonna work with. First, we're gonna start doing just the vertical one. You could also do this horizontal if you want. You could just look at your image and see which way works best for you. But this is the simplest one. It's a little bit more difficult to weave, so we'll start with this. So for our vertical oxymoron, I'm gonna choose these two images. I really like it because this is kind of like a scary, dark being with this really bright, colorful silly looking one. I think they're gonna look really cool when they're mixed together. So, first things first is we gotta make sure they're the same size. That looks right, I already cut it, I cheated. And then the other thing is, when you put them together, it's gonna be twice as wide, because it's together, and you're adding it together. So it's gonna be twice as wide, so you gotta make sure your piece of paper is big enough to fit it. So that looks about right. Now, I'm gonna have it go vertically because I wanna mix the images this way, seems best. So first we're gonna fold one of our images in half. And then fold it in half again on each side. Now you can do as many or as little folds as you want. I'm gonna stick with 4 just to make it easier. And then we'll do it to the other piece of paper. So remember, we're doing it, mixing it together vertically. So we're gonna fold it vertically. So fold in half, and then take that and fold the edge towards that halfway mark on one side, and then on the other. Okay, so now I have each image divided into 4. So in order not to get confused, I'm gonna just rip off each piece as I go. So I'm gonna choose to start with this palm tree here. Now, if you're using really thick paper, like construction paper or wrapping paper, you could always lick the edge here. If you don't have scissors, you can use scissors too. I think it's easy enough to tear it though. So, and just tear gently on that line. Voila, piece 1. Now I'm going to take my glue stick. Ooh, get some glue on the back there. I think this is going to take up the whole thing, so I'm going to put it right on the edge of my piece of paper here. Okay, now I'm going to take the first piece of my other image. So I can lick it, and then tear. You know, if you have a ruler, you can put your ruler right up to the line if you're worried about having a wibbly wobbly line. That's one way to make sure it's straight. And we'll lay it really carefully right next to our first piece. Okay. Now moving on. Again, I'm going in the same direction. Whoops. I already tore it out of the line. Okay. Lick that edge. And then be patient and tear it slowly. Oh! Okay. Got my glue stick. And voila. Now, if you have thinner sections, the images are going to look more mixed together, like they're going to be more incorporated, and the thicker the sections are, the more distinct each image is going to be. So it's really up to you. It's your artwork, and it should look like your artwork. So if you want to have a whole bunch of tiny skinny lines, go for it. If you just want to do a couple just to try it out and see if you actually like this type of collaging, go for it. Okay, got some more glue on here. Bye-bye. See how it's already looking pretty cool, I think, with that little hand coming out. Ah. Okay. Now we get the face section. Oh, I did it again. Patience. Patience. It's hard to remember sometimes when you're just so excited about making art. Roll, roll. Okay. And don't get frustrated, you know, if your line isn't straight, or your fingers are getting all sticky from the glue stick, or you can't get it lined up. You know, it's all just practice. And even if you're really frustrated, you still might make the most amazing artwork that you ever have. So you just gotta take a deep breath and move on. And I have one more piece from each of them. And I just lucked out, and this piece of paper is exactly as big as I needed it to be. Oh, that was almost upside down. And now for the last piece. I think that looks pretty awesome. So this is the first example of our visual oxymoron collage. I just used the vertical stripes and we mix the two images together. Pretty straightforward, right? So now we're going to do one that's a little bit more difficult. We're going to do the woven one. Now for this one, I think I'm going to use these little squares because I really like them. I just really like these deer. They're so cute. Anyway, so I'm going to cut out the squares. Lucky me, they're both from National Geographic, and they're the back page, so they're exactly the same shape. Perfect square. For this one, the final image is going to be pretty close to the original size of your picture. Probably just a little bit bigger and wibbly wobbly because we're putting it together by hand. Okie dokie. So next I need a piece of paper that's just a little bit bigger than this image. I have a nice black piece of paper that's already pretty much square, so I'm going to use this. And then we gotta decide, one of these is going to be folded vertically and the other one's going to be folded horizontally. So you just gotta decide which one you want to do. So I'm going to do my deers in the forest. I'm going to do them horizontally. So again, we're going to fold this image in half. You can just match up the edges. You can always use a ruler and measure it if that's what you want to do. If you like to be super precise, go for it, man. And then for this one, I think I'm going to make it be more mixed. Instead of just doing 4, I'm going to do 8. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these to each crease again. I don't know if that's confusing. It sounded way more confusing when I said it out loud than in my head. This one's all folded horizontally. Now remember, we're weaving them together, so our other image has to be folded the opposite way. So I'm going to fold this one vertically. So now I have my 2 squares, one folded in 8 horizontally and one folded in 8 sections vertically. So the key here is to do one piece at a time because it's really easy to get lost. So I'm going to start with the top of my horizontal piece. Up, up, up. Okay, patience, don't rip it. Ah! Oh man, okay. Employing the ruler. Ugh, jeez. Okay, maybe it's better if you have a bigger image to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna just start and I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the very end. I'm going the very right end, or the far end if you don't know your right from your left. So just sticking it down somewhere in the middle here. Just that part. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the very far end of my vertical image of my buildings. Okay, I have a little bit of a wobbly part, but that's okay. I'm not perfect. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there on the top part and put it down. Wow. Okay. Next, I'm going to put a little bit of glue, just a little dab, just right underneath it. So that part stays down. And we're going to tear off the next part of our, get the ruler, of the horizontal image. You got it. You got it. I ripped it in half. Oh God. It's a terrible example. Okay. Well, unfortunately this piece came off in 2 pieces. Just put a little bit of glue on that rip part. I'm going to keep this next to it so I know it's supposed to live there. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom. So, we got my broken piece here. Next we're going to take the next vertical strip. And I'm going to go ahead and be very, very careful with this one. Because it is frustrating when they break, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so for this vertical piece, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the very top of it and tuck it. Ooh, this is the fun part. Tuck it right under here. Press it down. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. There we go. So minus the broken piece, you can see we have a over and under overlapping weave going on here. Next, we'll take the next one down on the horizontal folded piece. Okay, so see how the one above is on top? So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom. Oh no! Today is not my day, guys. Okay, I got this rip piece now. Again, rip piece number 2. I'm going to put the bottom one under here. And then I'll put a little bit of glue here. And on this ripped end. There we go. Let's hide the fact that I ripped this. Oh look, it's brand new! This is how my image goes. So I'm going to take the next vertical piece. Okay, so I'm going to put this, so it's like every other one, you know, like a basket. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and put it right next to the other vertical piece, but on top of that horizontal piece. So I'm going to also put a little bit of glue on the back. And it really is easier just to do a little bit of glue at a time. And then the rip piece, put a little bit of glue on it. Let's see. I'll just tuck this corner back. There we go. And it's like it never happened. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, you might notice as you go that the weave is a little bit wibbly wobbly. You know, like this is not a perfect square, but it's okay. It still looks great. Okay, so next we'll put a little bit of glue on this bottom part, and so on and so forth. And we'll move to the next horizontal piece. Remember, I'm moving from the top down. Okay, so again, I'm putting a little bit of glue on that far end. And look, I'm gonna flip up this middle piece here. Up. Put glue here. Now the other thing you can do is if you don't want to glue it down to the paper as you go, because maybe you're not sure what piece of paper you want to do it on, you can just glue it to itself and then take the whole thing and put glue on the back and smush it down somewhere. Okay. So now I'll take one of our vertical pieces. I'm moving this way. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the top here. And then fold over this top piece and tuck it in. Okay. A little bit of glue here. This is where it starts to get tricky. Just gotta keep on remembering every other one. Fold it in. There we go. And you see how it's working? It's got like a little square. Every other square is one or the other images. Okay, so we're starting to get to the deer now. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the far end and fold up this piece here. There we go. And then weave her on through. And now we're going to the next vertical piece. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the top. Plop her down right next to the other vertical piece. And then fold the second horizontal one over. Ooh, look at this. There's so many. Look at that. I'm going every other one here. And you can glue these down as you go, or you can just glue it at the end. It's just really, it's nice to start with them glued down, so it's easier to weave them. Now, another thing you can do, if you want to switch it up, you could also do images with words. Like maybe you have a letter from your grandma that you really like, and then you can take a picture of your grandma or your grandpa and do the same concept and weave them together. Or maybe there's a poem you really like and you could write it down and then have a picture that you think goes really well with the poem and weave those together. I think that's another good take on this. Okie dokie, we're getting close to the end here. Get this vertical strip. I just gotta use the straight edge. I just need to be patient. Use my straight edge here. Because I keep on tearing it. And not in a straight line like it's supposed to be. Okay. Up, up, up. I do think it's easier if you have bigger pieces. And you could just have a way bigger image with really fat strips. Okay, so put a little bit of glue on the top. Tuck her under here. And then weave it through. So I'm just folding up one piece, every other piece, so it's like a basket. Okay, Okay, I got my straight edge this time. Just tearing really gently on the side. Ah, and I still ripped it. It's terrible. Okay. I can't even tell. Okay, this is this piece. So this, lucky me, the ripped piece is going underneath. See, I stopped gluing every single piece down because I'm just going to glue down the edges. At the end. And it's kind of wibbly wobbly. But so am I, so it's okay. Okay. So I'm going to put this on top, a little bit of glue. Weave on through. I think it gets a little bit more tricky at the end here because the pieces are short, and as you can see on mine, like they're not all the same length anymore, and I don't know if that's just because I'm not making straight lines or what. I'm sure you could get it perfect if you really want to. I don't know how to do that. More patience. And it looks like my strips aren't quite long enough, or these aren't quite tight enough. Maybe I can tighten them up here. So we'll just scoot them. Scooch up here. Come on. Okay. My bottom piece is going to be a little bit big. So we'll see. Maybe we'll just cap it off with this at the end. So I'll put a little bit on the bottom of the top, just to confuse you. Put that down here, right next to it. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this guy to it, anchor it down. Let's see. Well, I'm supposed to put another one down here, but mine was a little bit too wobbly. That's one reason why it's easier to do it without gluing it on the paper first, but, you know, plus and minuses. So, I'm going to just put a little bit of glue here on the bottom. Just to keep it all down. And I am going to tuck this, I'm going to cheat, so I have a nicer edge here. So it looks like I used all of them. Yeah. You can't tell I messed it up at all. Now it's wibbly wobbly, kind of like a hand woven basket would be, huh? It's not perfect square, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. I just like how we have this really cool image. We took two totally different things, deer in a forest and a picture of a really colorful apartment building, and wove them together. Now we have our own visual oxymoron. I think I will call it Deer in the Apartment. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out. I would love to see your artwork. You could send me pictures or write me a letter with your pictures. Let me know what you thought of the class, okay? So here's our visual oxymorons. I hope you weren't super frustrated. I know the woven one's a little bit more frustrating, huh? But it's also really fun. Just think of all the ways we can make art with what we have around the house, huh? Well, thank you so much for making art with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys next week, okay?